Alright gang, let's check this out. We're going to do an in-cab inspection. So the first thing we're going to do is look for our 3 required safety items. Our 10 VC or better fire extinguisher, properly mounted and secure, fully charged. We're going to open up our side door. We're going to check for our 3 safety triangles in the back. And we've also got spare fuses in a little box in the side door here. Then we're going to enter the vehicle, facing the vehicle, maintaining 3 points of contact at all times. Safe inside the vehicle. We're going to inspect our seat belt. Make sure the upper mounts and the lower mounts are nice and secure. We're going to make sure it latches. We're going to make sure it unlatches properly with the latch. We're going to make sure that's secure, the lower mount. We're going to inspect the belt, make sure it's free of any abrasions, frays, or cuts. Then we're going to go straight to the key, get this thing started. We're going to turn the key to the on position. The gauges are going to sweep, all the warning lights are going to come on and come off. And when that cycles, we're going to start her up. We're going to make sure our brakes are set. We're going to make sure the vehicle's in neutral. We're going to put the clutch to the floor and fire it up. We're going to come off the clutch reluctantly, just in case. Now we are multitasking. We're slowly building up our air pressure while we start inspecting the cab. We're going to check the driver's side door, the window, the mirror. Make sure everything's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Make sure the mirror is clean, free of any illegal stickers or other obstructions. Make sure it's properly adjusted to me so I can see 200 feet back. We're going to look across the windshield, make sure it's properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, free of any cracks, any stickers or obstructions that might obscure my view. Make sure the weather seal looks good, make sure there's no leaks. And we're going to move across to the passenger side window, door, and mirror. Make sure all that's properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Make sure the mirror is properly adjusted to me. Make sure it's free of any illegal stickers or obstructions. Make sure it's clean. Gonna look at the floor, make sure it's free of any obstructions, bottles of water, anything that might get stuck underneath my pedals. From the floor, I'm gonna come straight up to the steering wheel and the steering column. I'm gonna check my turn signals, indicators on my dashboard. There's one. There's my right turn signal. Come down here, check my 4-way flashers. I'm gonna check my high beams. There's my high beam indicator on the dashboard. Check my city horn. Check my air horn. I'm going to check my windshield wipers. Make sure they're properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Make sure the blades are free of abrasions, bumps, or cuts. Make sure they're seated properly against the windshield so they can wipe everything nice and clean. Then I'm going to check my windshield wiper fluid. I got a little bit of spray, wipes clean off. I'm going to start checking my gauges. My RPM gauge is at the proper idle and it responds to the throttle. I'm going to check my oil pressure gauge. It is at the proper operating pressure almost immediately. My fuel and def gauge shows we've got enough fuel to reach our destination. My voltmeter is showing around 12 to 14 volts. We're at 14.2. That's proper operating range. My primary and secondary air gauge, I've got 1 gauge, 2 needles, primary and secondary. They're between the governor cutoff of 120 to 140 psi. My speedometer I can't check until we're moving, and my engine, my water temperature gauge is slowly building to operating temperature between 190 and 210 degrees. Then I'm going to continue looking over here at my heater and my defroster. I've got a setting here with a window and a seat. I'm going to crank this puppy all the way up. I'm gonna reach my hand up on my dashboard, make sure I feel a little bit of air up here, put my hand down here, make sure I feel a little air down there as well. My heater defroster is functioning properly. So turn that off so you don't die, unless you absolutely need it. So that is the interior of the cab. Now we have to prepare for our scale test. So in order to do that, we're going to do PBS, like the old broadcasting network. We're going to push our knobs in. It's going to cause a little bit of air loss. My air gauge is dropping a little bit. So we're going to push our knobs in to release our brakes. And then we're going to build our air pressure back up to the governor cutoff. We're going to assist that a little bit with a little bit of throttle. We're going to build our air back to the governor cutoff around 125 psi, between 120 and 140 psi. It's building up nice and easy. Now this next part's important. We have to release our brakes so we can check for leaks. If we don't open those valves, then we can only see a leak in the air tank. We can't see a leak in any of the air lines. But once we open up those valves and let all that air pressurize the system, now we can see if any of those air lines are leaking as well. So it's very important that you open up the valves, that you push in those brake knobs, both of them, for a combination vehicle. All right, my air pressure is built up. The needle's not climbing anymore. So now the other thing that's important for air leaks, we got to turn off the engine, or the air compressor is going to hide any leaks. It's going to keep filling them up so we don't lose it. So we're going to turn the engine off. Now later on in the scale test, we're going to need to make sure that electronic lights come on. So we're going to turn the key back to the on position. System on. Check your gauges again. System on. Check gauges. S and C. The next letter in scale is A, the applied brake test. With the truck off, but the key on, and the brakes released, we're going to put our foot on the brake pedal. We're going to apply our foot to the brake pedal, and we're going to watch our air gauge settle. So I'm filling up all my brake chambers with my service brake. The gauges dip a little bit. Then I'm going to start a 60-second timer. Once my gauge is stabilized, I should not lose any more than 4 psi maximum in 60 seconds, starting now. This is a long minute. If you know any jokes, now's the time. Do not play with your foot. Do not play with your pedal. Keep the brake foot applied. If you have an application pressure gauge, you want around 90 psi of pressure. If you don't have an application pressure gauge, just press the pedal firmly and leave it there. We're about halfway through. We haven't lost any more air pressure. Still holding steady. We've got about 10 more seconds. Finish strong. 61 seconds is okay, 59 seconds is not. There you go. We have 1 minute. We have not lost any more than 4 psi in that minute, so that test was successful. Now, L is the low air pressure warning light and buzzer. Different trucks have different ways of doing it. Sometimes there's a little red light on the gauge. If you have 2 gauges, each gauge might have a red light. This particular model has a central information display. So we are going to step on and off the brake pedal. In order to simulate an air leak, we have to have some kind of a warning about low air before the air pressure gets below 55 psi. See how we can do this the best way. Think about at a birthday party when you're blowing up a balloon. Fully inflate the balloon. There we go. That's our low air pressure warning light. All right, that happened before 55 psi, so that test was successful. Next, we're going to move on to the emergency parking brake activation test. So we push these knobs in at the beginning in order to do our application or applied brake test. Now we're going to continue to pump the brakes until these knobs pop back out automatically on their own between 20 and 40 psi, 20 and 45 psi. So we don't really care what the gauge says at this point. We just need to make sure we don't miss it when the knobs pop out. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it doesn't make a sound. Sometimes one will pop before the other one. So pay attention to your gauges. There we go, they both popped out. Now I can look at my air gauge. It's between 20 and 40 psi. So that test was successful. We have successfully completed scale. Now we can't do a whole lot with 25 or 30 psi. So we're going to go ahead and restart the engine. We're going to do a safe start. So we're going to turn the key back off, turn the key back on, system on, check gauges. I'm going to put my foot on the clutch pedal and fire it up. Come off the clutch reluctantly just in case. Now we got to build our air pressure back up to the governor cutoff between 120 and 140 psi or 125. So I'm going to rev the engine a little bit, increase my RPMs, and help my air compressor build up the air a little bit quicker. All in all, this is a 10 or 15 minute test. You got to wait on your truck. You got to pay attention to what your truck's doing. You got to let your truck talk to you, tell you what's going on. So we're above 55 psi. The low pressure warning light and buzzer I've turned back off. When you get to about 85 psi, you can start another timer. Make sure you reach 100 psi in less than 45 seconds. I think we're most of the way there in very short order. The minimum air pressure to operate a commercial vehicle is about 100 psi. Dual air brake system's about 100 psi. But we're going to build it the rest of the way up to 125. It's a fairly new truck, so it feels like it takes forever because you're just kind of waiting. The watch pot never boils, but it'll be there before you know it. Now we can roll the windows down a little bit and listen for a little bit of a sneeze the engine makes. That lets you know that you built up enough air pressure. Done building up air pressure, so we built up our air. Now for the rest of this test, we're going to test our parking brake by releasing our trailer brake. I want to know if my parking brake can hold me in place. Alright, so I released my trailer brake and applied my parking brake. I'm going to put the truck in gear, foot on the clutch, bring it towards me. We'll just put it in first gear, and I'm just gonna partially engage my clutch, load the clutch a little bit. The truck tried to move and it didn't, so we know our parking brake is working. Now I'm gonna apply my trailer brake and release my parking brake. Now this next time, it's gonna tell me if my trailer brakes are holding. So once again, I'm going to partially engage my clutch. Trailer didn't let me go anywhere. So both of those tests were successful. Some people call them tug test, or the parking brake and emergency brake test. So I'm going to release both of them now and put my foot on the brake pedal. All right, this time I'm going to put it in third gear. I'm going to put it in third gear. I'm going to partially engage my clutch. I'm going to pull forward about 5 miles per hour, and then I'm going to put my hand lightly on the wheel and use my service brake to bring myself to a stop. Do a little bit of fuel, get up to 5 miles an hour, bring the truck to a nice, safe, smooth stop. That was successful. Now I'm going to put the truck in reverse, put it back where I got it from. Watch my mirrors. Check this mirror. Got to give them both some love. Bring it to a stop, take it out of gear. Apply my parking brake and my trailer brake. Now the last thing I'm going to do, with the assistance of someone else, they're going to stand out front of the truck here. I'm going to check the operation of my lights. Check my right and left turn signal, my four-way flashers, my headlights, my clearance lights, and my high beams. And then they're going to go to the rear. I'm going to look in my mirror, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to check my left and right turn signal, my four-way flashers. They're going to give me a thumbs up and a thumbs down. I'm going to check my tail lights, my clearance lights, and my brake lights. And when I finish with all that, I'm going to think it over. If I haven't done anything too boneheaded, that'll complete my in-cab inspection.